As expected, the production of Georgia's tight end group went down last year significantly without star quarterback Brock Bowers. But I can tell you right now, Georgia assistant coach Todd Hartley is ecstatic about what his room is going to bring to the table in 2025. I was able to speak with Coach Hartley during the media session of the Sugar Bowl and kind of dive into what he expects from his group this upcoming season. Now, I still think Georgia's tight ends group could be one of the strengths of the team. Now, Brock Bowers was a unicorn. He especially is the greatest college football tight end of all time. But there's still plenty of talent in that room. Oscar Delp comes back for another year. He got 21 passes last year, 248 yards and 4 touchdowns. And they went his way in big moments down the stretch, especially against Texas. He is very close friends, very comfortable with Gunnar Stockton. So I do think Oscar Delp's role in the passing game will increase in 2025. He's an outstanding run blocker, and I think he's bound for a really big final season in Athens. Lawson, Luckie caught 24 passes last year for 348 yards, 3 touchdowns. Probably their best pass-catching tight end on the roster. Dude's legit. He is a playmaking machine. We saw him make some outstanding plays against Alabama and Tuscaloosa. That catch on the sidelines against Texas in the SEC championship game was unreal, and flashed that Brock Bowers kind of just magical athleticism. So Lawson Luckie is going to be a weapon in 2025. But the first question I asked Todd was about Oscar Delp's leadership. He's the guy that I covered for years in high school. I saw him more than anyone else out there, and he has really grown as far as a maturity standpoint and a leadership standpoint. And that's what I asked Todd, and he was happy to talk about Oscar Delp and his progression in that part of his game. He said, quote, "In today's world, there's a void of leadership. You're trying to find guys who know the importance of being a leader and the magnitude of it, what it means to a team and what it means to a room. That's something you don't get on a stopwatch or on film. Those leadership qualities. Oscar came in and had the physical tools, but has had to grow and done an unbelievable job of maturing and growing. Now he's a leader and has that voice and an influence on the team." And he is one of the faces of the team and of the program right now. He had the big podium during the Sugar Bowl Media Day, which goes to, the best players or most influential players on the team, speaking with the media, and they had Oscar up there. And again, when the ball went his way, good things happen. And I thought he had an outstanding catch and run against Notre Dame, and he brings that ability. Interested to see how many more targets come his way in 2025, because I expect it to be more than it was last year. But again, the talent's always been there. He's a really good player and really shows it in the run game, but he is a dynamic pass catcher as well, as is Lawson Luckie. But I ran out of time to ask Todd about Lawson Luckie, but we all know that he's going to be a weapon next year. His ability to run after the catch. He's got some of the best hands on the team, and that is about as good a duo as you will find across college football. Neither one may be the best tight end in college football, but it's harder to find a better duo. But I did ask him about Jaden Reddell. This is a guy that I was extremely high on out of high school in that 24 class. You turn on the film, dude runs like a deer. He's built physically. He's got plenty of muscle, and that is a guy that I expect to play and make an impact next fall. He was just a freshman last year, but if you watched him warm up and just watched him on the sideline getting ready, he's going to be a player. He already looks like a guy who's been in college football for years now. Here's what Todd Hartley had to say about Jaden Reddell. Again, a guy who I think could have a really, really outstanding career over the next 2 to 3 years. He said, "Jaden wants to be great. He has an unbelievable work ethic." And he said, "I like all of our guys. They work their tails off every day. It's a product of Kirby Smart and our room. I love our room, and I love what we stand for. He fits the room perfectly. The physical tools are there. He can run, catch, and has great size. He's still learning to play the tight end position as a high school receiver. He attacked it the right way. He knows his strengths, but more importantly, he knows his weaknesses." Where did I pick off right there? Oh, he's working diligently to improve those. He's put him in a position to help us next year. If he keeps working, it's going to be exciting to see how he helps. Now, Colton Heinrich is right behind him too. I wasn't, again, kind of ran out of time to ask him about that or the 2 freshmen. But just speaking with Todd, and I know Todd a decent bit, and he's excited about what he has next year. He pushes those guys hard. He is the best tight ends coach in America. 6 straight NFL drafts. Todd Hartley has seen one of his tight ends hear their name called in the draft, right? 6 consecutive years, a Georgia Bulldog tight end has been picked. And guys know that. And that's why he goes on the recruiting trail and gets just about whoever he wants. He's an ace recruiter, and he brings in guys like Jaden Reddell, who is from Missouri, coming to Athens, who I think is going to make a big impact. But, if he locks down an in-state target like Oscar Delp, like Lawson Luckie, like Elias Williams, like Ethan Barbour, when he locks in, dude's not missing on the recruiting trail. And he knows how talented these freshmen are too. Again, there's not a program out there who brought in 2 outstanding tight ends in the 2025 class like Todd Hartley did. Elias Williams, a little bit mix, of little Brock Bowers and Darnell Washington. I'm not comparing him to those guys. I'm just saying from a size standpoint, he's bigger than Brock Bowers. He's not as fast, not as athletic, but he's crazy, freakishly athletic for a guy his size, 6'6", close to 6'7", 245, an outstanding basketball player. The athleticism just immediately stands out. And dude's a pass catching machine. He's a mismatch down the field due to his size. He can run after the catch. He can block. He's a red zone target. And while there are, some veterans in that room and guys that you can't really take off the field in Oscar Delp and Lawson Luckie, and you're trying to make room for Jaden Reddell, but Elias Williams is going to make an impact at some point, probably sooner than later. That's not a guy you can keep on the bench for very long. But like Todd said, there's not a lot of guys who play the traditional tight end spot in high school. If you're a college level, Georgia level tight end in high school, you're catching the football. You're basically playing receiver because you're obviously one of the best players on your high school team if you're committed to Georgia. And if that's the case, that high school coach is going to play you on the outside, right? He's going to get you the ball. So they're not, blocking in the run game nearly as much as they will in college. Sorry, I got a few texts popping up here. But he's really good. And I saw Ethan Barbour a ton. I saw him play at Alpharetta. I actually spoke with Todd before one of Ethan's games at Alpharetta. I believe it was against Pope, where he took off for 100 plus yards, 2 touchdowns. He was outstanding. And, Todd identified him early in the process when he was Alpharetta before going to Milton and winning a state title with the Eagles last year. And he's a baller. That's what Todd told me one time. He goes, that kid is a baller. I want him badly. And, he's a guy who, again, can make plays after the catch. He's tough to bring down, slightly undersized. And I think that's why he was kind of ranked as just a mid 4-star. But every time I played, every time I watched him play, he was the best player on the field. Best player on the field. Maybe not at Milton, but, they had C.J. Wiley, they had Luke Nickel. They got guys, but he was towards the top. He is a playmaker and a different tight end than Elias Williams. Elias is taller, kind of bigger. I think Ethan's a little faster, a little quicker. But I think those guys complement each other really well. And I know Todd is really excited about both those guys, but he is ecstatic about the progress that Oscar Delp has made from a maturity and leadership standpoint. The guy's been playing since he was a freshman. He played a lot against Ohio State. He played in that 2022 national championship game. So he played as a freshman, was solid in 2023, and made an impact last year. And with Gunnar Stockton being the quarterback, I think he's going to look Oscar's way a little bit more than maybe Carson did. But when the ball comes his way, he's making plays. And when the ball goes Lawson Luckie's way, good things tend to happen. Except for that Texas game where the bad throw from Carson kind of tipped off Lawson's hands. Most of the time he catches that. He didn't. It led to an interception. So, little bad things have happened. But, another year in the system, another year building that chemistry with Gunnar Stockton, I think is going to, show in the fall that this group is ready to make a bigger impact than it did last year. So I expect both of those guys to be more productive in the passing game. And I'm not saying they weren't productive last year because, again, they combined for 45 catches for over 600 yards, 7 touchdowns between the two. I mean, decent, right? But I expect Gunnar to maybe look at the tight ends a little bit more. And after that, the future's bright. I mean, Jaden Reddell is going to play this fall. Colton Heinrich, I think, could surprise some people. He was a 3-star tight end in that 24 class. I think is flying under the radar. But listen, if you sign with Georgia at tight end, you're a good player, and you check the boxes that they look for. And if you don't check the boxes, you can't play for Todd Hartley. Colton Heinrich, Jaden Reddell, check those boxes. And Elias Williams and Ethan Barbour checked them years ago. Those are really, really good players. So, tight end university, that's what Georgia is for a reason, and it's going to continue. I expect a massive season for the Georgia tight end room, and I know that Todd Hartley is really excited with the guys he has returning. And I mean, Oscar could play in the NFL, Lawson Luckie could play in the NFL, and Jaden Reddell has the potential and talent to do so, and so do the guys that they just signed in that 25 class, right? The numbers can kind of roll together, at least the years do. But yeah, this is a really outstanding group, and one that I think Georgia fans should be really excited about. Thanks for watching. Hope you learned something. Todd Hartley, excited about his group. You should be too. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the website.